you overcome marital problems? Hey guys, Miles here, husband, father, man. If you're an entrepreneur who already has a great marriage, love and passion and intimacy is through the roof, it's exactly the way you want it to be, this video is probably not for you. However, if you're an entrepreneur, a successful, busy, male entrepreneur in particular, and the level of connection, presence, passion and intimacy is not exactly the way you want it to be with your significant other, in this video I'm going to share with you 3 common sense but not necessarily common practice ways that you can deal with and overcome marital problems. First, I want to kind of start by telling you a story. Me and my beautiful wife Sati, who you'll have maybe seen in a video already, or you'll be probably seeing in future videos, have recently signed up to a new a new group of sessions for counselling. And a lot of people have kind of messaged me about this and have kind of come to me and said, you know, is everything okay? You guys all right? And that's the thing, a lot of people have this perception about coaching and mentoring and counseling and see it as it's an indicator that there's something wrong. Now, I believe that one of the fundamental things that makes me and Sati work, that makes us so good as a couple, I'm not saying that everything's perfect or that nothing ever goes wrong, because it does, but is that we really value the importance of improving ourselves, in being coached, in being counseled, in having other people kind of look at our behavior from the outside in and tell us where we could be doing better. And in this video I'm going to share with you 3 things that, when things aren't working well for us, the 3 really fundamental things that you probably want to pay attention to if you're not right now having the level of connection, spark, passion, intimacy with your wife, spouse or partner. First thing you got to do, men, this is particularly to you entrepreneurs that are busy, that are chasing success, that are hustling. The first thing you got to do is you got to take total absolute responsibility. There's a great saying I love from the profound movie that is Bug's Life. First rule of leadership: everything is your fault. What that means is, if there's something wrong in your marriage, but like if there's something wrong in your business, if you're the business owner, you take sole responsibility for fixing it. Now, you may have an employee that's done something wrong, but ultimately it's on you to fix that problem. And the same goes for your marriage. But what often happens in marriage is a lot of people see their relationship with their partner and kind of go, it's your fault, like it's because you said this and you said you were going to do this, and instead a lot of people point the finger. And you know, one of the things I've learned about pointing the finger, if you point a finger at somebody else, you're pointing 3 back at yourself. So it's really important that you take total absolute responsibility and go, do you know what? It takes 2 to tango. As Tony Robbins says, you know, no matter how thin you slice it, there's always 2 sides. So take absolute total responsibility, and when you do that, it means that you know that you're in complete control of fixing the problem and of being the solution to the problem. Next, it's amazing how many couples I've had conversations with, me and Sati have done coaching with, who've said, you know, we just don't think our marriage is working, you know, we've got problems, we can't stop arguing. And then I ask them a simple question: how many times a week are you working out? And they're like, I mean, never at the moment, we're so busy, with kids and school runs and homeschooling and all this kind of stuff. And I'm like, let's have this conversation, you know, like in a week from now. And in that week, I want you to get out for a walk every day for 30-45 minutes, ideally together, but if you can't do it separately, I want you to do some vigorous exercise for half an hour every day for 7 days. And then in 7 days time, let's look at this problem again and see if you feel like you've got the same problem. And 99 times out of 100, I've had that conversation with either the male or the female or both, and they've said that the problem has shifted. You see, most people, the problem is not the problem. The problem is a lack of energy. So if right now you're arguing, you have conflict, you know, you're getting ratty with your partner, with your spouse, you're not intimate, that may just be down to the fact that you're not taking care of your energy, that you're not hydrating well, that you're not eating the right foods, that you're not getting enough sleep, that you're listening to negative news and media, and that's compromising your energy. That you're not supplementing your diet with super greens and multivitamins that are really, really beneficial things, not to replace food, but are really beneficial during winter. So you really want to pay attention to your energy and look at, are you creating and generating the level of energy that is going to create energy, joy, and generate presence and excitement from your significant other? So you've got to really pay attention to your energy. And the last thing, and this one's a tough one to take, and this is the one that probably for me was the hardest lesson, but it's also the most valuable lesson. It's the lesson that when I started to really, really pay attention to this, as painful as it was at the time, it cleansed me in terms of my soul and my spirit like nothing else. And it's to do what I call look to the roots. What that means is, for me as a kid growing up with, my mum, bless her, she did an amazing job. She did the best she could with the resource she had available. Single, hard-working parent. Hey mum, if you're watching, I love you. The hard-working single parent on a council estate in Birmingham. Dad wasn't around. My mum and dad split up when I was very young. They both made different choices. I grew up with a chip on my shoulder, not really knowing who I was, really struggling to find the right kind of masculine energy. I was either angry and aggressive and too alpha, or I was completely feminine and kind of got caught between two. And it's still something now. I have coaching, I have counseling. Still sometimes this kind of comes up. But I tell you what, when you look to the roots, when you see that actually the problem is not the problem. So right now, if you're having a marital problem, I guarantee the problem is not the problem. The problem is something from one or probably both of your childhood, adolescent periods of your life that is unresolved, and you brought it into adulthood. There's a childlike part of you that needs healing. And unless you heal that, unless you deal with that, unless you look to the roots, you're going to keep having the same problems with people, thinking that they're the problem, when in actual fact, it's because you haven't dealt with something from your past. So you've got to look to the roots. If you really want a great marriage, probably the best advice I can give you is, if you have conflict, if your intimacy, if your connection is not the way you want it to be, get to the real root of what the real problem is. Where in your childhood, how did you have to show up for your mother? How did you have to show up for your father? Who did you have to be to get their love, to get their attention? Was one of them not present? Or maybe they were both present, but they weren't actually present. I don't know what it is for you. I can only speak from my experience. But when you when you do real deep inner work the way I've done, the way Sati's done, and you really get coached and counseled on the real root problems of your emotions and of your thoughts and your feelings, and you cleanse that spiritual center, it is profound how it can impact positively your relationship with your spouse or wife or partner. That's it. Hope you've enjoyed the video. If you have, hit like, share, comment, whatever you want to do. And just to clarify, as I always say in these videos, I am not some relationship guru. I'm just a husband, father and man who did it badly, and now I'm trying to do it better. See you soon. Take care. God bless.